Your chest tightens. You feel the heat rising when someone pushes your buttons or questions your worth. You want to react, to explain, to prove yourself. In that moment you're on the edge of chaos. What if you chose a different path? What if silence became your shield and strength? In this video we'll show you how to protect your peace, stop giving away your power, and move forward without wasting energy on drama. You'll learn simple steps to pause before you speak, cut off harmful patterns without guilt, and build a mindset that stays calm under pressure. Are you ready to reclaim control over your emotions and your life? Stay with us and discover practical strategies that you can use today to feel more focused, confident, and in charge. Get ready to transform your reactions, rebuild your power, and step into a stronger, quieter version of yourself, starting right now. Chapter 1. Choose silence to protect your peace every day. Silence is one of the most powerful tools you will ever have in life. It isn't weakness. It isn't avoidance. It is control. It is strength. And it's the first sign that you've started choosing peace over chaos. Most people today live in constant noise, mental noise, emotional noise, and external noise from others who want to pull them into arguments, drama, and endless cycles of stress. Choosing silence isn't about running from conflict. It's about deciding that your energy is too valuable to be wasted on things that don't help you grow. It's about protecting your mind, your focus, your emotions, and your overall well-being from unnecessary battles. Every time you respond to negativity, you're feeding it. Every time you try to prove your point to someone who's already decided not to understand you, you're wasting your breath. Every time you argue with someone who thrives on conflict, you're stepping into their game. And every time you take the bait of someone else's immaturity, you are lowering your own frequency. The moment you learn to walk away, stay silent, and remain unbothered, you take your power back. You stop giving control to people who don't deserve to shape your day, your mind, or your emotions. You don't need to react to every comment. You don't need to respond to every attack. You don't need to explain yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Silence is the way you protect your peace. When someone disrespects you, silence gives you the space to choose a response that's calm, clear, and controlled. When someone tries to get a reaction out of you, silence shows them they have no power over you. And when the world around you is chaotic, silence is where you find your center. The strongest people are not the ones who argue the loudest. They are the ones who can sit still, keep their composure, and choose clarity over chaos. They are the ones who don't allow external situations to control their internal state. Being silent does not mean you're passive. It means you're focused. You are not wasting time on anything that does not serve your growth. It's a conscious decision to stay rooted in your values, your goals, and your personal discipline. Peace is not something you find outside. It's something you build inside, and it starts with silence. Silence from distractions, silence from drama, silence from unnecessary confrontation. You create peace in your life by removing the things that disrupt your clarity. And sometimes the loudest noise in your life is the one you keep feeding with your reaction. You say you want peace, but then you keep explaining yourself to people who don't listen. You say you want focus, but then you keep engaging with people who throw you off balance. If you want real peace, you have to earn it by protecting it. And protecting it means choosing silence, when silence is the most powerful answer. People will test you, they'll push your buttons, they'll try to trigger old wounds, but you're not who you used to be. You're no longer someone who has to prove their worth to others. You've outgrown the need to be right. You've moved past the need to always have the last word. You don't need validation from people who don't even respect themselves. Your silence is your strength now. Your silence is your response. Your silence is your power. It says, I don't owe you a reaction. I don't owe you my peace. I don't owe you my energy. This kind of discipline isn't built overnight. It's trained. Every time you choose not to react, you build emotional control. Every time you choose not to argue, you strengthen your mindset. Every time you walk away instead of engaging in drama, you reinforce your inner peace. And it gets easier over time. The more you practice silence, the more your mind stays calm. The more you protect your peace, the less chaos has power over you. The more you guard your energy, the stronger and more focused you become. This doesn't mean you never speak up. It means you speak when it matters, not when your emotions are high. You choose your battles wisely. You don't let anger lead you. You don't let people pull you into fights that take you off your path. Silence gives you space to respond with clarity, not emotion. It gives you the time to decide whether something is even worth your time. Most of it isn't. When you understand how valuable your peace is, you become very selective about who and what gets your attention. Start today. Choose silence the next time someone tries to provoke you. Choose silence the next time your ego wants to defend itself. Choose silence when you know that speaking up would only add fuel to the fire. Choose silence when your peace is more important than being right. You don't have to react to everything. You don't have to explain your decisions. You don't have to be loud to be strong. You just have to be disciplined enough to stay focused on what truly matters. The truth is, most people don't deserve your reaction. They haven't earned the right to disturb your peace. And by giving them that power, you're giving away a piece of your freedom. Your time, your energy, and your attention are your most valuable resources. Stop giving them away so easily. Start protecting them like your life depends on it, because it does. A peaceful life isn't something you stumble into. It's something you choose every day by walking away from anything that disrupts it. You'll start noticing that the more silent you become, the more you hear. You'll hear your thoughts more clearly. You'll understand yourself more deeply. You'll sense what you need and what no longer serves you. And you'll stop wasting time trying to convince others of your value. People who matter will understand your silence. People who respect you will recognize your boundaries. The rest will fall away, and that's a blessing, not a loss. Every day you have a choice. You can feed the noise, or you can feed your peace. You can react, or you can observe. You can fight every battle, or you can walk away from the ones that don't matter. Life becomes simpler when you stop explaining yourself and start showing through your actions what you tolerate and what you don't. Silence is a clear message. It says, I value my peace too much to argue with you. I value my focus too much to waste it on you. I value myself too much to lower my standards. If someone constantly disrespects your time, your silence says, you no longer have access to me. If someone constantly tries to bring you into drama, your silence says, you will not get a reaction from me. If someone is toxic or manipulative, your silence says, you are no longer part of my space. This isn't cold. This is maturity. This is self-respect. This is the kind of strength that transforms your life. Your silence is not for them. It's for you. It gives you space to think, to breathe, to grow. It creates the room you need to stay aligned with your goals. It protects your mental health. It protects your emotional well-being. And over time, you'll find that silence brings more clarity than any argument ever could. Use that silence to build something greater. Use it to read more, to reflect more, to train your body, to focus on your work, to write, to create, to heal, to reset. That silence is your most sacred space, and once you learn to live in it, you'll stop letting anyone pull you out of it. You'll realize that real power isn't in how loudly you speak. It's in how deeply you stay rooted in peace when everything around you is trying to shake you. This chapter is not just about being quiet. It's about intentional silence. Silence that builds strength. Silence that builds clarity. Silence that builds self-respect. It's a habit you build one day at a time. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. You stop being reactive. You stop chasing approval. You stop fighting battles that don't matter. You start living with focus, with calm, with power. You will be tested. People will try to disturb your peace. Your ego will want to speak. Your emotions will want to react. But you are stronger than that. You are not here to be controlled by other people's chaos. You are here to master yourself. And that mastery begins with the choice to be silent when silence protects your peace. That is the new standard. You don't react. You don't explain. You don't argue. You protect your peace with discipline. You protect your energy with silence. And you show the world that nothing is worth losing your focus. That is how you stay strong. That is how you grow. That is how you win. One silent decision at a time. One strong boundary at a time. One peaceful day at a time. From this day forward, remind yourself, silence is power. It's not weakness. It's not avoidance. It's control. It's strength. It's peace. And every time you choose it, you take your life back, one quiet, powerful moment at a time. Chapter 2. Train your mind to stop reacting to nonsense. You are not weak for staying calm. You're powerful for not reacting. In a world where everyone's addicted to drama, where anger is applauded and outrage gets the spotlight, your greatest weapon is self-control. Your ability to hold your tongue, control your emotions, and walk away without a word is what sets you apart from the chaos. You were not born to chase every insult, respond to every provocation, or explain yourself to people who have already made up their minds. You were born to master yourself, and it starts by training your mind to stop reacting to nonsense. Most people react without thinking. Someone says something offensive, and they fire back instantly. Someone questions their worth, and they feel the need to defend. Someone disrespects them, and they explode. But here's the truth. Every reaction you give away is power you lose. Every time you let someone trigger you, they win, not because they were right, but because they pulled you down to their level. And the more you react, the more you teach people how to control you. If you want to become unshakable, you have to stop letting every comment, every glare, every opinion get under your skin. Not everything deserves your attention. Not everyone deserves a response. Some things are so irrelevant, they only exist to distract you from your purpose. And when you give them your energy, you fall into a trap that keeps you mentally exhausted, emotionally drained, and spiritually empty. You cannot rise if you're constantly pulled down by nonsense. You must learn to pause. Not everything needs an answer. Not every situation requires your involvement. That pause, that breath, that stillness, it's not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the moment you reclaim control. It's the second where you decide, this is not worth my peace. And in that pause you rise above the noise. You see the bigger picture. You recognize that your energy is too valuable to waste on anything that doesn't serve your evolution. Nonsense wears many masks. It comes in the form of pointless arguments, petty conflicts, unsolicited opinions, social media drama, jealousy, gossip, and people who simply want to provoke you for attention. If you keep reacting, you'll spend your life putting out fires that shouldn't even exist in your world. The secret is to train your mind to see these triggers not as threats, but as tests, opportunities to rise higher, to respond smarter, to protect your mental space with unshakable clarity. When you stop reacting, you become unpredictable, and in that unpredictability, you gain power. People don't know how to manipulate you because you don't give them the reaction they seek. They try to provoke you, but you stay composed. They throw negativity at you, but you stay centered. That silence, that calm, that unbothered energy, it confuses them. It makes them realize they have no control over you, and that realization is powerful. It protects your peace. It preserves your focus. It elevates your discipline. You don't train your mind in a single day. It takes repetition. It takes self-awareness. It takes a deep understanding that not every battle is yours to fight. Some battles are designed to distract you, others are meant to drain you, and some are just illusions, irrelevant noise that seems urgent but has no real impact on your path. The more you observe without reacting, the sharper your awareness becomes. You start seeing through the nonsense. You start filtering what matters and what doesn't, and slowly your mind transforms from reactive to responsive, from chaotic to calm, from fragile to fierce. You must learn the difference between reaction and response. A reaction is instant, it's emotional, it's driven by ego, it's uncontrolled, but a response is thoughtful, it's intentional, it's rooted in clarity. When you react, you're being controlled. When you respond, you're in control. The difference determines your peace, your progress, and your power. If you want to master your life, you must master your reactions, because the person who controls your emotions controls your mind, and the person who controls your mind controls your direction. Most people lose not because they aren't talented, but because they're too distracted. They fall into emotional traps. They respond to critics. They engage with people who have nothing to lose. But you're not here to engage with noise. You're here to move with purpose. You're here to build something real, and building anything meaningful requires mental clarity and emotional discipline. It requires that you protect your energy like it's your most sacred resource, because it is. When someone insults you, it says more about them than it does about you. When someone disrespects you, it reflects their inner state, not your worth. When someone tries to provoke you, it's because they feel powerless themselves. Don't stoop to their level. Don't hand over your dignity to people who thrive on creating chaos. The moment you stop reacting, you start leading. You start creating from a place of peace. You start living from a place of power. Life will test you. People will test you. Your patience, your ego, your emotions, they'll all be challenged. But that's where growth lives. Not in comfort, but in resistance. Every time you feel triggered, pause and ask yourself, is this worth my peace? If the answer is no, walk away. Stay silent. Choose power, because your mind was not made to be a battlefield. It was made to be a temple, and you don't invite every voice into a temple. You choose who and what you allow in. This kind of discipline isn't easy. At first you'll feel the pull to react. You'll feel your heart race, your palms sweat, your ego beg for a comeback. But don't give in. That moment is your training ground. It's where you develop the muscle of restraint. It's where you teach your mind that you are in charge, not your emotions. And the more you practice, the stronger you get. One pause at a time, one breath at a time, one silent step at a time. It's not about being emotionless. It's about being emotionally intelligent. It's about knowing when to speak and when to stay quiet, when to engage and when to detach, when to defend and when to rise above. Emotional intelligence is the real flex. It's the trait that separates the reactive from the strategic, the chaotic from the calm, the lost from the focused. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. Your growth is not for debate. Your focus is not up for negotiation. And your peace is not something you give away to every disturbance that knocks on your door. People will say things. They will judge. They will mock. That's not your problem. That's noise. And noise is powerless unless you choose to amplify it with your attention. Train your mind to stay rooted in facts, not feelings. Train it to pause before responding. Train it to seek peace over proving a point. Train it to protect your energy before protecting your ego, because in the long game of life, peace wins, clarity wins, discipline wins. Start practicing today. When you scroll and see something triggering, don't comment. When someone tries to pick a fight, walk away. When gossip surrounds you, don't join. When you feel offended, examine your reaction before acting. This is how you rewire your brain. This is how you stop being a puppet of your emotions and become a master of your state. Imagine the version of you that no longer flinches at criticism, that doesn't crumble when provoked, that doesn't give emotional access to every opinion. That version of you is calm, focused, disciplined, respected, and untouchable. You don't get there by accident. You get there by training your mind daily, through intentional silence and ruthless clarity. Don't give emotional control to people who would never handle your heart with care. Don't hand over your focus to people who aren't even focused on their own lives. Don't lower yourself just to meet someone in their chaos. You've come too far for that. You've grown too much for that. Your standards are too high for that. Stay grounded. Stay focused. Stay unbothered. The more calm you are, the more powerful you become. The more you observe, the more you understand. And the more you understand, the less you react. It all starts with the mind. Master it, and you master your entire life. Now is the time to elevate your mindset. Build that mental fortress. Train your thoughts. Guard your peace. And remind yourself every day, not every reaction is worth it. Not every battle is yours. Not every trigger deserves your attention. You are not here to play small games with small minds. You are here to build, to lead, to rise. And none of that can happen if you're constantly reacting to nonsense. So the next time life throws chaos your way, smile with calm, walk with clarity, and stay committed to your peace. Because you don't win by fighting everything. You win by mastering yourself. And if this message sparked something in you, hold on to it, use it, apply it, let it transform you. Because this is not about one moment of inspiration. This is about choosing a new standard. One where you stop being a slave to reactions and start living like a leader of your life. Stay calm, stay sharp, stay unshakable, and keep moving forward, silently, powerfully, relentlessly. Chapter 3. Let go of people who drain your energy. Some people were never meant to walk with you forever. Some were only there to show you who you must never become. The longer you hold on to them, the more of yourself you lose. You already know who they are. The ones who exhaust your spirit. The ones who make you question your worth. The ones who leave you emotionally starved even after you give them everything. Letting go of these people isn't cruelty. It's survival. It's clarity. It's the only way you rise without carrying the dead weight of someone else's dysfunction. You don't need another sign. You don't need more proof. You felt it for months, maybe years. The draining conversations, the subtle guilt, the constant chaos. The way they make everything about them, even your pain. You keep forgiving, hoping they'll change. You keep explaining, thinking they'll finally understand. You keep staying, convincing yourself that loyalty means sacrificing your peace. But it doesn't. Loyalty to others is betrayal if it costs your sanity. And deep down you've known this. The version of you that dreams, that works, that grows, it's suffocating. And the only reason it's trapped is because you've been trying to save people who don't even want to save themselves. Energy is your currency. It's your fuel. And you cannot afford to waste it on people who only know how to take. Every time you answer their drama, you pay in energy. Every time you defend yourself against their projections, you pay in energy. Every time you lower your vibration just to keep the peace, you pay in energy. And when the day ends, you're left with nothing for yourself. No peace, no clarity, no drive, just exhaustion. But this exhaustion isn't physical, it's emotional, and it's the kind that kills dreams slowly. You weren't born to live in emotional poverty. You weren't meant to shrink yourself to keep toxic connections intact. You were meant to build, to create, to thrive. And that can only happen when you start pruning your life. You cannot keep watering dead plants. You cannot keep giving light to people who thrive in your darkness. Some people don't want to grow, They just want company in their suffering. And if you're not careful, they'll convince you that staying stuck with them is compassion. But compassion without boundaries is self-destruction. Look at your circle. Really look. Are you growing with them, or just surviving? Do they encourage your discipline or distract you from it? Do they bring calm or do they feed your anxiety? You owe it to yourself to answer these questions honestly, because energy doesn't lie, and people either feed your flame or suffocate your fire. The ones who drain you, they're not always loud. Some are subtle, some mask their neediness as love, some hide their control behind concern, but the effect is always the same. You feel small, confused, tired, and the longer you stay, the more you forget who you were before you met them. This is not about blame, it's about awareness. Maybe they aren't bad people, maybe they're just not your people, and that's okay. But keeping them in your life out of guilt or fear or obligation, it's a prison, and you can't build freedom from a place of emotional captivity. Letting go is hard, but staying stuck is harder. Growth hurts, but staying the same will destroy you. Every time you choose yourself, you reclaim a piece of your power. Every time you say no more, you rise. Every boundary you set is a brick in the foundation of your future. Some people come into your life as a lesson, not a life sentence. They show you your patterns, they reflect your wounds, they challenge your worth. But once you learn the lesson, it's your responsibility to move forward. If you stay beyond the lesson, it turns into a cycle, and cycles don't end until you decide that your peace matters more than their comfort. People who truly love you won't drain you, they won't manipulate your emotions. They won't take advantage of your kindness. Real love restores you. Real friendship empowers you. Real connection fuels your purpose. Anything less than that is a distraction dressed up as loyalty. It's time to clean house. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually. If they cost you your clarity, they're too expensive. If they kill your motivation, they don't belong. If they make you feel like you're never enough, they're not your people. And yes, it will hurt. Yes, you'll miss the memories. Yes, there will be lonely nights. But you'll never regret choosing yourself. You'll never regret breaking chains that kept you small. You'll never regret walking away from what was killing you slowly. You don't need their approval. You don't need to explain. You don't need closure. Some doors have to be closed without a final conversation. Some ties need to be cut without a dramatic ending. Protecting your peace is not selfish, it's necessary. And anyone who tries to guilt you for choosing peace was never interested in your well-being in the first place. You owe no one access to your energy. You owe everyone your clarity. And if someone disturbs that clarity, they've already told you who they are. The longer you hold on to the wrong people, the longer you delay your purpose. You can't take everyone with you. Not everyone is meant to understand your vision. Not everyone deserves front row seats to your life. Some were only meant to be part of your past, not your future. And you have to be brave enough to move forward without them, because peace is a lonely path sometimes. But it's the path where your strength, your clarity, your purpose is born. You've outgrown them. You've grown past the conversations that go in circles, past the emotional manipulation, past the guilt tripping, past the drama that always seems to follow them. It's not your job to fix them. It's not your job to shrink just to make them feel big. You're not a rehab center for broken people who refuse to heal. You're not a landfill for their emotional garbage. You're not a sponge meant to absorb every drop of their negativity. You're a builder, a creator, a warrior, and warriors don't waste their strength trying to carry people who are determined to stay broken. There's power in release, power in saying, "This no longer serves me," power in closing the door and locking it. You don't need to justify it. You don't need to wait until you're drained one more time. If it doesn't bring you peace, growth, or joy, it doesn't belong in your life. And if that means walking alone for a while, so be it. Loneliness with peace is better than connection with chaos. And when you let go, you make room for the people who match your future, not your past. Imagine how much more you could do if you weren't constantly managing someone else's dysfunction. Imagine the focus, the clarity, the energy you could reclaim. That's not a dream, it's your reality, if you choose it. The universe doesn't open new doors until you close the ones that are poisoning you. The opportunities you've been waiting for, the clarity you crave, the momentum you desire, it's all on the other side of letting go. This is your wake-up call. Stop pouring into people who never fill you back. Stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. Stop sacrificing your peace for people who wouldn't flinch if you lost it all. You are not their emotional crutch. You are not their savior. You are not responsible for their healing. What you are, what you've always been, is someone with a purpose too big to stay stuck in small, draining relationships. Letting go isn't the end, it's the beginning. It's the start of the life you were always meant to build. One rooted in purpose, surrounded by peace, driven by discipline, and filled with people who energize, not deplete you. So take the leap, release what no longer serves, and rise into the next chapter of your life, without apology, without guilt, and without looking back. Because once you protect your energy, everything changes. Your mind clears, your path sharpens, your focus strengthens, and your entire life elevates. This is not just a mindset shift, it's a life shift, and it begins now. If this spoke to you, if it hit something real inside you, then don't let this moment pass. Do the hard thing, choose the brave path, and remember, the future you desire is waiting, but you'll only meet it if you let go of the people who've been silently holding you back. Let go, move forward, and never settle for being drained again. Chapter 4. Build Inner Strength by Staying Calm Under Pressure. When everything is crashing down around you, and your heart's pounding, and your hands are shaking, and your mind is screaming to run, to react, to explode, that's the moment where greatness is either built or broken. And most people break. But not you. Not anymore. You've spent too much of your life letting emotions hijack your decisions, letting pressure dictate your behavior, letting fear, anger, or panic control the steering wheel. You've lashed out when you should have held still. You've crumbled when you should have risen. And afterward, you always felt it. That regret, that heavy silence, that feeling that you lost yourself for a moment. The truth is, pressure doesn't create weakness, it exposes what's already there. And if you don't build the strength to meet it with calm, you'll always be a slave to your reactions. But here's the truth. No one wants to admit, calm is not natural. You're not born with it. You have to earn it. You have to build it in silence, in struggle, in the uncomfortable spaces where every fiber of your being wants to scream but you choose not to. Calm isn't passive. It's one of the most aggressive acts of self-control you can develop, because anyone can panic, anyone can lose it. But to stay centered when your world is shaking, that's power. There will be days when life throws you into chaos with no warning. The job falls through. The relationship ends. The opportunity vanishes. Someone betrays you. Someone attacks you unfairly. And in those moments your mind will try to convince you that you need to react fast, loud, and emotionally. But that's exactly what destroys your leverage. That's what makes you easy to control. You don't win by reacting. You win by responding. There's a massive difference. Reaction is impulsive, emotional, erratic. Response is grounded, clear, composed, and that difference could cost you everything, or save you from it. If you want to build real inner strength, you need to train your nervous system to stop treating every stressor like a threat. Most of what you're panicking about isn't life or death. It's discomfort, it's inconvenience. But your body doesn't know that. Your mind doesn't know that, unless you teach it. You train calm like a muscle. You strengthen it through resistance. You don't get calmer by avoiding pressure. You get calmer by walking through it and refusing to let it own you. You want peace? Then you better learn to breathe through chaos. You want power? Then master silence when everyone else is shouting. You want real control? Then stop giving your emotions the keys to your destiny. Let people underestimate you. Let them project their chaos onto you. Let the world test you. That's how you build a version of yourself that doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, doesn't run. Think of the strongest people you admire. They're not the loudest in the room. They're not the most reactive. They're not posting every problem on social media. They move differently. They don't fight every battle. They choose their moments. They observe. They plan. They strike only when it matters. That's what pressure has taught them, to think beyond the heat of the moment. You don't need to engage every attack. You don't need to explain yourself every time someone misunderstands you. Your calm is not weakness. It's your dominance in disguise. When you refuse to be shaken, you change the dynamic. People don't know how to manipulate someone they can't emotionally trigger. The moment you respond with silence, with stillness, with clarity, they lose control. Pressure is how life separates the prepared from the panicked. Most people are mentally fragile because they've never practiced patience, never built emotional discipline. They break the minute things get hard. But that won't be you, not if you decide today to train differently. Every moment you stay calm under stress is a brick in the fortress of your character. Every second you hold your tongue instead of lashing out, you build self-respect. Every time you breathe through frustration instead of letting it explode, you level up. This isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about leading them, being aware of them without being consumed by them. And that takes relentless practice. Real calm is forged in repetition, not theory. You don't become strong by thinking about it. You become strong by enduring without breaking. Start small. Don't respond to every insult. Don't defend yourself to every critic. Don't fight every fire. They'll burn out on their own. Save your energy for the real battles. And when those come, you'll have the composure to act, not react. Emotional mastery is the foundation of inner strength. You will never dominate your external world until you've conquered your internal one. That voice in your head, it's either your greatest ally or your most dangerous enemy. You have to train it to serve you. In moments of high stress, slow everything down. Take control of your breathing. Anchor your thoughts. Remind yourself this isn't permanent. This isn't fatal. I'm still in control. Speak to yourself like a leader, not a victim. What you say to yourself in pressure determines how long you'll stay in it. If you crumble mentally, your body will follow. But if your mind is strong, your environment can shake, and you'll still stand. You can't avoid pressure in life. You're going to be tested. That's not optional. But how you respond, that's where your freedom lies. Most people wait for things to be calm before they feel peace. But what if you built peace within, regardless of what's happening around you? Imagine being the calm in every storm. Imagine being so grounded that chaos can't touch you. That's not fantasy. That's who you become when you choose discipline over impulse. Inner strength is what keeps you going when motivation fades. It's what guides you when the plan falls apart. It's what protects your vision when emotions threaten to destroy it. You don't build it overnight. You build it every single day, by doing what's hard, by staying patient, by refusing to let fear run your life. Every uncomfortable situation is your training ground. Every setback is a weight you lift mentally. You grow by staying composed when everything in you wants to fall apart. Pressure doesn't mean you're losing. It means you're rising. You're at the edge of a breakthrough, but that next level won't accept the old panicked version of you. It demands someone sharper, someone calmer, someone unshaken, and that someone is forged right now in the fire, not after it. So stop waiting for perfect conditions to feel confident. Stop waiting for peace to feel powerful. Learn to carry both pressure and poise. Stand tall in discomfort. Smile in the storm. Hold your line when others break. That's how warriors are built. Not by running, not by reacting, but by standing their ground when everything tells them to run. You don't need to escape pressure. You need to face it differently. You need to rewrite the story you tell yourself about stress. Instead of "I can't handle this," say, "This is making me stronger." Instead of "This is too much," say, "This is exactly what I need to grow." Change your language, and you change your emotional state. Change your emotional state, and you master your reality. Every leader, every high performer, every master of discipline has this in common. They don't let pressure own them. They don't let feelings sabotage focus. They don't react out of fear. They respond from power. And now it's your turn to become one of them. You've wasted enough time letting stress ruin your clarity. You've given away too many opportunities because you lost control of yourself. Enough. This is where that ends. From this point forward, pressure will become your ally. It will refine you, not define you. You will build inner strength so sharp, so unshakable, that life won't know what to do with you. And when that pressure comes again, and it will, you'll meet it differently. You'll stand calmly while others panic. You'll think clearly while others crumble. You'll make moves while others freeze. Because now you understand the truth. Calm is your weapon, and you've spent too long giving that weapon away, so reclaim it. Right now, choose stillness, choose composure, choose to lead your emotions, not follow them. And when the world tests you again, smile, because this time you're ready. Now go, build your inner strength. Don't wait for life to be easy. Make yourself stronger, because the stronger you are within, the less anything outside of you can shake you. This is how you rise. This is how you win. Calm, sharp, and completely unstoppable. Chapter 5. Walk away from disrespect without needing to explain. If they don't respect you, leave. And don't ever look back. You don't owe anyone your peace, your dignity, or your explanation. At some point in your life, you've begged for decency in places where silence should have been your exit. You stayed when the tone changed. You laughed off the insults. You tolerated the backhanded comments. You tried to explain yourself to people who had already made up their minds to misunderstand you. And for what? To protect an image, to avoid conflict, to keep people comfortable while your soul was screaming that this isn't right. There comes a time when you must decide either your self-respect lives or your need for approval does, but both cannot survive in the same space. If someone consistently disrespects you, that's not a misunderstanding, it's a decision. It's not about whether they love you in their own way. It's not about how they're just like that. It's about the energy you continue to tolerate when your spirit already knows it's being drained. You don't need to explain your boundaries to people who violate them. You don't need to over-communicate your worth to those committed to undervaluing you. That's not growth. That's self-abandonment dressed up as compassion. And that game costs more than it's ever worth. Let's be honest, most people stay where they're disrespected because they fear being alone. They fear being judged. They fear looking like the villain for choosing themselves. But what you should fear is living a life where you keep lowering your standards just to stay connected. What you should fear is becoming so numb to mistreatment that you start calling it normal. Because once you normalize disrespect, you begin to shrink in ways that are hard to recover from. Your confidence fades. Your voice softens. Your identity blurs. And all for what? For people who would replace you the moment you stop serving their comfort. You have to realize this. Walking away from disrespect is not a loss. It's a return to your strength, a return to your dignity, a return to the version of you who remembers what you deserve, who doesn't bend to stay liked, who doesn't beg for crumbs from tables you weren't even meant to sit at. There's a deep power in silence. When you walk away without saying a word, without needing to explain, you send a message louder than any confrontation ever could. I am not available for anything less than respect. That clarity changes everything. It realigns your energy. It shifts your focus from proving yourself to protecting yourself. And that's not weakness. That's emotional intelligence. The truth is, most people who disrespect you already know they're doing it. You don't need to teach them how to treat you. They already learned. They just don't care. And the longer you stay, hoping they'll suddenly change, the more you betray yourself. People rarely wake up one day and start respecting someone they've consistently walked over. It doesn't work like that. Respect doesn't grow in familiarity. It grows in the absence created by boundaries. They don't respect you until they no longer have access to you. Some of the most powerful moments in your life will be the ones you walk away from quietly. No explanation, no dramatic exit, just a decision made in silence that this is no longer for you. And yes, it'll hurt. Letting go always does. But the pain of walking away is temporary. The pain of staying where you're disrespected, that's permanent, and it grows. You don't need closure from people who disrespected you. You don't need their validation. Closure doesn't come from them. It comes from you choosing peace over chaos. It comes from you recognizing that someone else's inability to value you does not define your worth. That's your job. That's your responsibility. And when you truly respect yourself, you stop accepting the bare minimum disguised as love, friendship, or loyalty. You deserve relationships where your presence is appreciated, not tolerated. You deserve spaces where your voice is heard, not silenced. You deserve people who uplift you, not ones who quietly resent your strength. And the longer you stay around those who minimize you, the more you delay the people who are actually aligned with your growth. When someone repeatedly disrespects you, they're not just testing you, they're teaching you how much they value you. And every time you excuse it, justify it, or ignore it, you're teaching them that your value is negotiable. That's not love. That's not loyalty. That's emotional erosion. Let go of the fantasy that if you just love them harder, explain more clearly, give them more chances, they'll finally see you. If they haven't seen your worth by now, it's because they don't want to. You are not a mirror for someone else's clarity. You're not a rehabilitation center for broken respect. You're not a placeholder until they learn how to treat people. You are a standard, and standards don't beg, they walk. And when you walk away, do it with your head high, not because you're better than anyone else, but because you're finally better to yourself. Don't waste time trying to craft the perfect goodbye. Don't over-explain your decision to people who aren't listening. Don't look back hoping they'll chase you and make it right. Just leave, quietly, confidently, completely. This isn't about ego. This is about survival, because every time you stay where you're not respected, you die a little inside. Your light dims, your joy fades, and eventually you forget what you were even fighting for. Don't let disrespect convince you to live small. Don't let someone else's dysfunction teach you to doubt yourself. You are not here to absorb abuse. You are here to evolve. You have a life to build, a mind to sharpen, a heart to protect. And none of that is possible when you're stuck in a cycle of disrespect, trying to earn the bare minimum. The most radical act of self-love is leaving, not with bitterness, not with anger, just with a quiet, powerful decision. I'm done explaining why I deserve to be treated well. You see, the people who truly value you won't need a long conversation to understand your standards. They'll feel them, they'll respect them, they'll match them. And if someone gets offended by your boundaries, they were benefiting from your lack of them. So walk away, not to punish them, but to free yourself. Walk away, not because you don't care, but because you care enough about your peace to protect it. Walk away, not to prove a point, but because your silence is louder than any argument. This is your turning point. From now on, choose your self-respect over their comfort. Choose your clarity over their confusion. Choose your peace over their chaos. You don't have to be the bigger person. You just have to be the better one for yourself. Let them wonder why you walked away. Let them gossip. Let them rewrite the story. You'll be too busy living a life that finally feels like home. And as you move forward, remember this. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow, what you tolerate, and what you walk away from. Don't settle. Don't shrink. Don't explain. Just walk. And never forget who you're doing it for. You, because you're finally done begging for respect you should have never had to ask for in the first place. Now go quietly, boldly, unapologetically, and never look back. Chapter 6. Focus your attention only on what helps you grow. If you want to grow, you must stop giving your attention to things that keep you stuck. There is no faster way to lose your power than to keep watering weeds and wondering why nothing beautiful is growing. The life you're dreaming of, the clarity you're chasing, the strength you're trying to build. It's not going to come to you while you're busy scrolling through noise, chasing validation, or entertaining distractions that feed your ego but starve your purpose. You don't get to rise while your focus is fractured. You don't get to become unstoppable while constantly looking left and right, comparing, overthinking, or explaining yourself. Growth demands precision. It demands you stop pouring your time, energy, and thoughts into people, places, and habits that give you nothing but exhaustion in return. You already know what drains you. You already know what steals your peace. The real question is, why are you still allowing it into your world? Every second you spend consumed by drama, negativity, or shallow distractions is a second stolen from the life you're capable of building. It's time to take your focus back. And this isn't about toxic positivity. This is about taking radical ownership of your attention. Your attention is currency. Wherever you spend it, you're funding it. Are you funding your growth, or are you funding your fears? Are you building something real, or are you just keeping yourself busy? We live in a world built to hijack your focus. Algorithms, notifications, conversations that go nowhere, people who always have something to say but never have anything to offer. Every bit of it is designed to keep you mentally scattered and emotionally reactive. But if you want to grow, you've got to choose differently. You've got to train your mind to zoom in, not zone out, because your energy flows where your attention goes. And right now someone else is benefiting from the energy you're not protecting. You've got goals to reach, dreams to build, a mindset to shape that requires you to be present, intentional, and fiercely disciplined about what gets your mental space. Not everything deserves your response. Not everything needs your reaction. Not everyone is worth your time. Growth is not just about doing more. It's about subtracting what no longer aligns. So ask yourself, what are you feeding? Every time you get lost in someone else's opinion of you, you're feeding self-doubt. Every time you replay a past failure, you're feeding regret. Every time you obsess over what you can't control, you're feeding powerlessness. And you wonder why you feel stuck. The truth is, your focus creates your reality. What you choose to look at is what you become emotionally attached to. What you become emotionally attached to begins to shape your identity. You don't have time to waste on things that won't matter in 5 years, let alone 5 weeks. Growth happens when you make your focus sacred, when you stop chasing everything and start mastering one thing yourself. You've got to become the gatekeeper of your own attention. Not everyone gets access. Not every situation deserves your reaction. Not every battle is yours to fight. It takes strength to let go of distractions. It takes courage to say no to comfort and yes to clarity. But that's the difference between staying the same and finally evolving. You cannot change your life until you change what you focus on daily. Your attention is either feeding your progress or feeding your problems. There is no in-between. Think about the people who are doing what you want to do, living how you want to live. They're not superhuman. They're just focused. They've trained their minds to ignore the noise and prioritize what matters. They don't entertain every invitation. They don't respond to every opinion. They don't wake up wondering what the world expects from them. They already decided what they expect from themselves. You've got to do the same. No more giving energy to things that don't evolve you. No more sacrificing your peace to prove a point. No more spending your precious focus on dead conversations, toxic cycles, or digital distractions that numb you but never feed you. If it doesn't help you grow, it's got to go. You were not born to be mediocre. You were not built to be scattered. You have a fire inside you that can't be lit by outside applause or temporary excitement. It gets ignited by direction, by purpose, by giving your full attention to what really matters. And the more you feed that fire, the more unstoppable you become. Your mind is a garden. Every thought you plant, every habit you nurture, every piece of attention you give, it's either growing you or drowning you. So what are you choosing to grow? Are you planting seeds of discipline, focus, and resilience? Or are you letting weeds of worry, fear, and comparison take over your mental space? You don't owe anyone your attention just because they demand it. You don't need to explain why you're going quiet to focus on your next move. Let them wonder. Let them criticize. You've got work to do. Your next level won't come from being liked. It will come from being focused. You don't climb higher by being everywhere. You rise when you lock in and move with intention. If it doesn't help you become stronger, smarter, calmer, or more grounded, it's a distraction. If it doesn't bring clarity, it's chaos. If it doesn't bring peace, it's poison. And the sooner you start filtering your attention like your life depends on it, the faster you'll grow into the person you've always wanted to be. Your energy is sacred. Your attention is limited. You cannot afford to waste it anymore. Focus on building. Focus on learning. Focus on becoming. Because the version of you that's coming, they don't chase distractions. They command results. They're not worried about being understood. They're too busy understanding themselves. So let the world spin. Let the noise scream. Let the distractions tempt you. You've got a direction now. You're not available for anything that delays your progress. You've wasted enough time. Now it's time to lock in. The more you narrow your focus, the greater your results. The more you filter what gets your attention, the sharper your mind becomes. Every moment you reclaim from distraction is a step toward power. Every thought you redirect is a brick laid in your foundation. Growth doesn't happen when it's easy. Growth happens when it's focused, when it's intentional, when it's disciplined. This is your moment to choose distraction or direction, chaos or clarity, comfort or evolution. The future doesn't belong to the scattered. It belongs to the focused, the ones who refuse to settle, the ones who protect their energy like it's gold, the ones who wake up and say, if it doesn't help me grow, it's not part of my life. You're not behind. You're not lost. You're just one decision away from massive transformation, one moment of clarity, away from explosive momentum. And it all starts with a question: what am I giving my attention to today, and is it helping me grow? Choose wisely, stay locked in, and never again feed what weakens you. Now if this message woke something up in you, do something with it. Don't just nod and scroll. Take back control. Focus, like your future depends on it, because it does. This is your turning point. Make it count. Chapter 7. Practice emotional control no matter what they do. They want a reaction. Don't give it to them. Give them silence. Give them calm. Give them nothing they can use to control you. The moment you master your emotional response, you take your power back. You stop playing the game they want you trapped in. You stop handing over control to people who thrive on chaos, and you stop letting your peace get hijacked by those who don't even have peace within themselves. People will test you, life will provoke you, but the ones who win aren't the ones who shout the loudest. They're the ones who stay grounded when everything around them tries to pull them out of alignment. Because control isn't about dominating others, it's about refusing to be dominated by your own reactions. Let me tell you something. Most people never learn. If they can trigger you, they can control you. If they can make you angry, you're on their leash. If they can make you emotional, they own your behavior. That's the game they play, and you've probably played it too, but it ends now. Because when you stop reacting, you start leading, you stop chasing, you stop defending, you start choosing every word, every move, every silence, with intention. You don't owe the world your emotional outbursts. You don't have to prove yourself by shouting louder or explaining harder. Real power doesn't announce itself, it just is. The loudest person in the room often has the weakest position. The calmest person, they're the one who's already won, because they're in control. They're not rattled. They've already decided how they show up, no matter what the world throws their way. Think about the last time someone disrespected you, tried to push your buttons, tried to drag you into their storm. How did you react? Did you snap? Did you stoop? Did you lose your center just to match their chaos? Now ask yourself this: what did it cost you? See, every time you react without thinking, you pay a price. You lose focus, you lose peace, you lose control. And what do you gain? A few seconds of release. A temporary win in a meaningless argument. That's not strength, that's slavery to your emotions. But imagine this: what if, no matter what they did, you stayed calm? What if your heart stayed steady? What if your mind stayed clear? What if their drama bounced off you like it had no place in your world? That's not weakness, that's power. It's easy to act strong when things go your way. But real emotional strength is built when everything tries to knock you off course, and you stand firm anyway. When they insult you and you choose grace. When they provoke you and you choose stillness. When they lie and you choose to keep your energy clean. That's the kind of power nobody can take from you. And here's the truth: most people are reacting to old wounds. They're carrying triggers from their past and projecting it onto you. Don't make it yours. Don't let their pain become your problem. If someone's trying to provoke you, it says more about their state of mind than yours. Emotionally immature people need a fight to feel important. Emotionally strong people need peace to protect their progress. So how do you build that strength? You train it. Like a muscle, you start catching yourself in the moment. That split second before you explode, that's your moment of truth. That's where change begins. You pause, you breathe, you remind yourself, I don't have to go down this road. I'm not here to lose control. I'm here to lead myself. And slowly you start rewriting the pattern. You stop acting out old stories. You stop being a puppet to your environment. You start choosing, because emotional control is a decision. It's not something you're born with. It's something you build, day by day, choice by choice. Silence by silence. They can talk about you, they can spread rumors, they can try to pull you into gossip and chaos. Let them. The storm can rage outside, but your peace lives inside. Nobody should have that kind of access to your inner world. Nobody should be allowed to dictate how you feel, how you move, how you show up. You don't get stronger by avoiding triggers. You get stronger by outgrowing them. By facing them and choosing not to flinch, choosing not to fight battles that aren't worth your breath, choosing not to lower your frequency to match theirs, because that's the trap. When you react to everything, you become everything they want you to be: unstable, defensive, off balance. But when you respond with stillness, they lose their power over you. You become untouchable. And that's the energy that changes your life. People will misunderstand you. Let them. People will question your calm. Let them. People will try to stir you up just to feel in control. Let them try. That has nothing to do with your journey. Your responsibility is not to educate everyone on your worth. Your responsibility is to guard your focus, protect your peace, and practice emotional control until it becomes second nature. When you stop reacting, you start winning. You stop wasting energy. You start creating momentum, and you start becoming someone who's driven by vision, not emotion. Someone who moves with purpose, not pettiness. Someone who leads, not follows the chaos around them, and don't get it twisted. Being calm doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean letting people walk over you. It means knowing when to engage and when to detach. It means having the wisdom to pick your battles and the discipline to walk away when the battle is beneath you. You've got too much purpose to keep giving your energy to nonsense. You've got too many dreams to waste emotional fuel on people who don't even matter in your long-term story. Don't fall into the trap of needing the last word. Let silence be your response. Let results be your response. Let your growth be so loud they can't ignore it, even if you never say a word. Because the most dangerous person in the room is not the one who shouts. It's the one who can sit in silence and still hold all their power. That's who you're becoming. Someone who can't be shaken. Someone who can't be baited. Someone who knows that emotional control isn't just about avoiding breakdowns. It's about creating breakthroughs. Start today. Don't wait for the perfect situation to practice calm. Practice it now. In the tension, in the traffic, in the trigger. Every moment you choose discipline over reaction, you're building a stronger version of yourself. And every time you slip, don't beat yourself up. Reset, reflect, recommit. That's how mastery is built. You were not born to be ruled by your emotions. You were born to rule over them, to feel deeply but move wisely, to acknowledge pain but not let it control your actions, to face anger but not act from it. You're allowed to feel, but you're not allowed to let those feelings destroy your direction. And if you need a reason to stay calm, let it be this: your future is too important. Your peace is too rare. Your growth is too powerful to keep letting people hijack your energy. You're no longer available for chaos. You're no longer available for reactive living. You're choosing mastery. You're choosing control. You're choosing the higher road, not because they deserve it, but because you do. So the next time someone pushes your buttons, stop, breathe, rise above. Let your silence speak louder than anything you could say. Let your calm shake the room. Let your control build a life that feels like peace, even when the world tries to give you war. If this message spoke to you, then act on it. Don't let this be another video you watch and forget. Apply it. Live it. Practice it until it becomes who you are. Because the most powerful version of you is not reactive. They're intentional. They're focused. They're calm. Be that version, starting now. Chapter 8. Use quiet actions to rebuild your personal power. True power is not found in noise or flash. It's built quietly, deliberately, in the small actions you take when no one is watching. If you want to reclaim your personal power, understand this right now: loud declarations and dramatic gestures won't rebuild what's been lost. Real strength rises from calm persistence and quiet confidence. It's the steady heartbeat of consistent effort behind the scenes, the invisible work that shapes who you really are. When life tries to strip your power away, the answer is never to shout louder, it's to move smarter, to act silently but surely. Most people misunderstand power. They think it's about control, dominance, or making a scene. But real power is subtle. It's the unshakable energy that comes from knowing your worth, setting boundaries without explanation, and creating progress without applause. It's the kind of power that doesn't need validation or recognition because it's deeply rooted inside you. Picture a strong tree in a storm. It doesn't scream at the wind. It doesn't try to fight it with noise. It bends, it roots deeper, and it stands firm. Quiet actions are your roots. They keep you grounded when the world wants to pull you down. Every small step you take to rebuild yourself in silence adds layers to your foundation, and once that foundation is solid, nothing can topple you. Think about the moments when you felt powerless. Maybe you reacted loudly, trying to be heard, trying to prove your worth, only to feel more drained afterward. Maybe you poured your energy into arguments, explanations, or chasing approval. These are moments when power slipped through your fingers because it's not found in what you say, it's found in what you do, consistently and quietly. When you commit to quiet actions, you're telling the world and yourself that your power is not up for grabs. It's not something you give away to anyone's opinion or reaction. It's something you build silently, step by step, until it becomes impossible to ignore, not because you shouted, but because your results speak volumes. The problem is, quiet actions don't feel as rewarding at first. They don't offer immediate gratification or attention. They require patience and faith. Faith in yourself, in the process, and in the unseen progress. But those who master this are unstoppable. They don't need a spotlight because their power shines from within. And when they finally emerge, it's with a force that commands respect naturally, without even trying. You've been living in a world that glorifies noise, social media, arguments, flashy success stories. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking you need to prove yourself loudly, but every time you chase that, you lose focus on what really matters, your inner growth and your silent momentum. The most impactful changes in your life will come not from grand announcements, but from daily quiet disciplines, showing up early, preparing while others rest, practicing your craft when no one watches, forgiving yourself when you fail, and trying again. These actions don't scream for attention, but they carve out a path no one can take away from you. Let me tell you a story. A young man once sought to prove his strength by challenging everyone around him with loud words and brash behavior. He thought that showing force would make people respect him, but it only isolated him. Then he met a mentor who taught him that true power grows in silence. The mentor didn't shout or boast. Instead, he worked quietly every day, improving himself, helping others without expectation, and living with integrity. Over time, people naturally gravitated toward the mentor's calm confidence, and his influence grew without him lifting his voice. You can be that person. You don't have to fight for respect or power through noise. You can cultivate it by acting quietly with consistency, by letting your growth speak for itself, and by protecting your energy from distractions and drama. Sometimes rebuilding personal power means stepping away from the crowd. It means withdrawing your energy from people and situations that drain you. It means spending time alone to recalibrate and refocus. The quiet moments are not emptiness. They are where your power regenerates and strengthens. If you want to reclaim your power, start by looking inward. What small silent habits can you adopt today that will build momentum? What boundaries can you enforce calmly without explanation? What progress can you make in private that will prepare you for a breakthrough in public? Remember, power built on silence is resilient. It doesn't crumble under pressure or criticism because it's not dependent on external approval. It's anchored deep within your purpose and values. And when you embody this kind of power, you become magnetic. People respect your presence, not because you demand it, but because you own it quietly and confidently. The temptation to prove yourself loudly will always be there, but resist it. Every time you choose a quiet action over a loud reaction, you're reclaiming your power. Every time you focus on progress rather than praise, you're building an unshakable foundation. Every time you move with intention instead of impulse, you're shaping the future you deserve. No one else needs to understand your journey. You don't owe explanations for your silence or your steady steps forward. Your power grows in the spaces between the noise. It flourishes in your focus, your discipline, and your unwavering belief in yourself. This is your moment to rebuild quietly and powerfully, to act without fanfare but with unstoppable force, to reclaim your life by showing up every day, doing the work that matters, and trusting the process even when no one's watching. If you take this lesson seriously, your transformation will be undeniable, not because you shouted the loudest, but because you became the calm center in the storm. The person who moves silently but leaves a mark so deep it can't be erased. So start today. Find your quiet action, protect it fiercely, let it rebuild your personal power stronger than ever before. The world will notice, not because you told them to, but because your silent strength cannot be ignored. If this resonates with you, don't wait. Begin now and watch your quiet actions change everything. Chapter 9. Cut off toxic patterns without guilt or fear. The moment you decide to cut toxic patterns out of your life, you reclaim your freedom, and with it, a future you've been too afraid to reach for until now. Let me be clear, breaking free from toxic habits or relationships isn't easy. There's a weight that drags you back, the fear of loneliness, the guilt of letting people down, the haunting question of what if I'm wrong. These feelings trap you in cycles that crush your spirit and steal your joy. But here's the truth, nobody tells you loud enough. You do not owe your energy to anything that drains it. No one has the right to tether your growth with their toxicity. Many of us stay stuck because we confuse loyalty with self-sacrifice. We cling to toxic patterns out of a misplaced sense of duty or fear of conflict. But loyalty that demands your pain is a leash disguised as love. It chains you to the past, prevents your evolution, and robs your life of meaning. Imagine being a bird trapped in a cage with a broken lock. The door is open, but you're too scared to fly away because you think freedom means uncertainty and loneliness. Yet, the cage itself is a slow death. Toxic patterns are that cage. The key is in your hands, and the flight is yours to take if you dare to trust yourself. Cutting off toxicity without guilt means recognizing your worth as non-negotiable. It means understanding that protecting your mental and emotional health is not selfish, it's survival. When you remove what poisons your soul, you create space for healing, for new energy, for authentic connections that honor who you are. Fear whispers lies that you're being harsh or unfair. Fear tries to convince you that staying means love, that walking away means failure. But courage is not the absence of fear, it is acting in spite of it. It is choosing your peace over chaos, your growth over stagnation. Guilt is the echo of past conditioning, messages implanted by others who wanted to control you or by your own internal critic. You can break those chains today. Remember, guilt does not mean wrongdoing when your choice is about survival and progress. It's a false emotion designed to keep you small. You might wonder how to sever these patterns when the lines are blurred, when the toxic is mixed with familiarity, history, or fleeting moments of kindness. The answer lies in clarity. Clarity about what you deserve and what drains your spirit. Clarity about who lifts you higher and who pulls you into darkness. Sometimes the hardest part isn't cutting off the pattern itself, but learning to live without the familiar pain that once felt like comfort. You may miss the noise or the chaos, because it's what you know, even if it hurts you. But missing the old pain does not mean you belong to it. As you step away from toxicity, you'll notice a void. That emptiness can feel like loneliness or loss, but it's actually a blank canvas. This space is your chance to rebuild yourself, to fill your life with purpose and people who respect your boundaries. Here's a crucial insight. Cutting toxic patterns isn't about seeking revenge or burning bridges with anger. It's about reclaiming your power gently but firmly. It's about deciding that your emotional and mental well-being come first, not as a punishment to others, but as a gift to yourself. Think about the energy you waste, explaining yourself to those who don't respect your boundaries. What if you chose silence instead? What if you simply walked away without a word because your peace is your priority? This refusal to engage in toxicity is a radical act of self-love. Your mind might tell you you're abandoning someone or something important. Challenge that narrative. Are you abandoning toxicity or embracing your freedom? Are you fleeing responsibility, or are you choosing to thrive? There's a profound strength in saying no to what harms you without needing approval or understanding from anyone else. When you stop apologizing for protecting your heart, you start to live authentically. You begin to write a new story, one where you are the hero, not the victim. This process requires brutal honesty with yourself. You must look deeply at the habits, relationships, and thought patterns that no longer serve you. It's uncomfortable, but discomfort is the birthplace of transformation. The moment you recognize a pattern that pulls you down, give yourself permission to walk away. Don't wait for permission from others, and don't allow guilt to anchor you in the past. You are allowed to prioritize your healing over maintaining unhealthy connections. Breaking free also means preparing for resistance from others and from within. Toxic environments often breed manipulation and guilt-tripping when you try to leave. You must steel your mind against these tactics. Remind yourself that you are not responsible for other people's reactions to your boundaries. Your liberation is not negotiable. Your life deserves peace. Your soul craves growth. Imagine a life where you wake up energized, not weighed down by toxic cycles. Imagine relationships where respect and support replace manipulation and pain. This life is possible once you shed what no longer serves you. Start with small steps. Identify one toxic pattern you can cut off today. It could be a habit, a mindset, or a relationship. Then practice saying no without over-explaining. Protect your time and energy like a precious resource, because it is. You may feel fear trying to pull you back. That's normal. Fear is the brain's way of trying to keep you safe in the known. But the known can be deadly when it's toxic. Choose to lean into discomfort as a sign you're on the right path. Healing is not linear. You might stumble or feel waves of doubt. That doesn't mean failure. It means you're human. Keep moving forward with compassion for yourself. You deserve a life where your energy is respected, your voice is heard, and your peace is protected. Cutting off toxic patterns is your gateway to that life. Don't wait for the perfect moment or a sign from others. The power to change your life is already inside you. This is your invitation to choose courage over comfort, growth over guilt, and freedom over fear. Take the first step today and feel the weight begin to lift. Your future self will thank you for this fierce act of self-respect. If you're ready to stop the cycle, act now. Protect your boundaries, cut off what harms you, and watch how your world transforms. You don't need to explain your choices to anyone but yourself. Your peace is your power. Guard it with unwavering strength. Chapter 10. Stand firm in silence and move forward daily. There is an unshakable power in silent resilience, the kind of strength that doesn't announce itself with noise, but moves mountains with quiet determination every single day. You might feel invisible when you choose silence. The world expects us to shout louder, to prove ourselves with grand gestures, to seek constant validation. But true strength rarely makes a sound. It's the calm inside the storm, the steady breath when everything around you is chaos. It's standing firm even when no one is watching, trusting the process and moving forward with relentless focus. Imagine a river cutting through rock, not because of force, but because of consistent flow. Day by day, drop by drop, it shapes the landscape. Your silent persistence has that same power. It changes your life slowly but irrevocably. It builds a foundation so solid that distractions and doubts bounce off like raindrops on stone. You don't have to explain your journey to anyone. Not every victory needs an audience, and not every struggle requires applause. The world is noisy with distractions, opinions, and critics. When you stand in silence, you're choosing to protect your energy, your vision, and your peace. Silence isn't weakness. It's a shield. It guards you from unnecessary battles, from draining conversations, from the endless swirl of opinions that try to pull you off course. When you resist the urge to react, you save your strength for what truly matters, consistent action that aligns with your purpose. Daily movement forward is your greatest ally. Even when progress feels invisible, even when the steps seem small, every single effort compounds. Momentum doesn't roar, it whispers. It's the accumulation of tiny wins, the habit of showing up when it's hard, the discipline to keep your eyes on the prize while ignoring the noise. Many give up because they want immediate results. They expect fireworks and grand announcements, but life rewards those who are patient enough to persist quietly, steadily, and without distraction. Your breakthrough doesn't need a spotlight. It needs your unwavering commitment. There will be moments when doubt creeps in, when the silence feels deafening, when the path forward seems unclear or lonely. Those moments are tests. They challenge your resolve and separate the temporary from the lasting. Lean into these challenges. They are proof you are growing beyond your old limits. Silence also deepens your clarity. When you stop reacting to every external stimulus, your mind sharpens. You begin to see what truly matters and what doesn't. You start to discern your values from the noise around you. This clarity is priceless. It guides every decision and fuels your daily progress. Consider the power of a rooted tree in a storm. It doesn't fight the wind by moving wildly. It bends when needed, but never loses its grip on the earth. Standing firm in silence means you're anchored in your principles. You absorb challenges without breaking. You adapt without losing your essence. Your daily forward motion is your promise to yourself. It's the commitment that no matter what happens, you will keep building, keep learning, keep striving. This rhythm creates unstoppable momentum. It transforms setbacks into lessons and fears into fuel. Silence can also be a form of respect. Respect for your own time, your own dreams, and your own journey. When you stop broadcasting your intentions or defending your path, you focus entirely on execution. Action speaks louder than words, and your consistent effort will eventually make the loudest statement. You might feel tempted to explain or justify your silence, to defend why you're not reacting or reacting slower than others expect. Resist this urge. Your growth doesn't need validation from anyone else. It needs your focus, your discipline, and your belief in the unseen progress. The world rewards those who can endure quietly. Think about the great achievers, the innovators, the resilient souls. They weren't always loud. Often their most powerful moments were forged in quiet solitude, where they planned, worked, and stood firm in their convictions. This practice will test your patience and your faith. It will ask you to hold steady even when the results are not immediate or obvious. This is where many stumble. But remember, the silent are not invisible. They are preparing, evolving, and setting the stage for their inevitable breakthrough. Embrace the discomfort of silence. Use it to listen deeply to yourself, to recalibrate your goals, to strengthen your mindset. This is your training ground for greatness. The world will try to distract you with noise, news, drama, social media, endless chatter. These are thieves of time and focus. Choose instead to stand firm in your silence. Create boundaries that protect your quiet space. Guard your inner peace fiercely. Each day, commit to moving forward no matter what. The size of the step doesn't matter. What matters is that you keep walking. Progress is a collection of small, deliberate acts repeated without fail. You don't need permission to succeed quietly. You don't owe anyone explanations for your pace or your methods. Your only responsibility is to yourself and your vision. As you master standing firm in silence and moving forward daily, you will find your energy conserved, your mind focused, and your life aligned. You will become a force that cannot be ignored, not because you shout, but because your presence demands respect. This is your call to action. Stop reacting to noise that pulls you off your path. Stop explaining your progress or defending your choices. Stand strong, move consistently, and trust the silent power within you. Your transformation is underway. The world will notice soon enough, not by the noise you make, but by the results you create. Keep moving, keep standing, keep rising. You are more powerful than you realize when you combine silent strength with daily forward action. Let this truth fuel your journey. You don't have to prove anything to anyone but yourself. Now is the moment to commit to this silent power. Let your progress speak, and let your actions carve the path to your greatest life. Stay silent, stand firm, move forward. Your victory awaits.